You are now listening to a 302 Birds podcast experience, proudly powered by Tick Pick, Cutbet, El Diablo Burritos, Nick's Pizza, and Klondike Kate's on the heart of Main Street.
It is time. It is Red October, and Ballpark Tommy, let's just say he got his public excuse. He's out from school. He got his sick note. He's there tonight cheering it up. So I do apologize to you guys who came out to see him tonight. He's not here. But I promise you, it is another episode of 302 Birds, jam-packed. And I can't believe there's 10 people, 11 now, watching live right now. They could be watching the Phillies, simultaneously watching the Phillies. Who knows? It's going to be a wild show. The Phillies are in the middle of the game. You're probably going to hear a lot of screaming. I know that this guy right here, he's going to be filling the role of Ballpark Tommy tonight, so get ready for some random outbursts. But hey, before we get into all that, before we get into the meat and bones of the podcast, I do want to thank everybody in the chat, Dobbins, Ryan Swoop, and others, what's going on. But I seriously want to get into Jack's weekly call-ins. And first up, we got my younger cousin, Whit, but I will hit that intro and kick it to Jackson and Whit.
What do I want when I'm in the state of Delaware? Of course, El Diablo Burritos. Customer service always is serving your food with a smile on their face, asking how your day is, but their food is phenomenal as well. Their burritos are out of this world, one of the best burritos in town. Their queso is phenomenal. Their burrito bowls are amazing as well. When you're in and around Delaware, stop by your local El Diablo Burritos and tell them that 302 Birds sent you. God bless, go Birds.
In the script.
What up, Whit? How you doing tonight? Thank you, El Diablo Burritos, for that sponsor. How you doing, Whit? You're muted, Whit.
You're muted, buddy. There you go. Oh.
What's up, Whit?
There we go.
Nothing.
How you?
How's your boy AJ Brown?
Good.
How you think he's playing this year?
Score a lot. Good. I mean, after what happened in week 2 where he was yelling at Jalen, I think they've really started to do good now.
I agree with you 1,000%. I know AJ Brown definitely had his sideline moments and, kind of tied that back down last week's game. He had, 200-some yards, and he popped off. I mean, the only issue I have with him is that he cost us a penalty with a touchdown, even though it was a beautiful touchdown. But I think, I'm not worried about A.J. Brown at all. What do you think the Eagles are going to do this year? Go ahead. We're going to say what?
You just got to be smarter. You know the game's on the line. The Commanders are a decent team. You just can't get that taunting penalty there.
Agree 1,000%.
Dude, Whit needs to be the head coach right now. I mean, he's spitting facts. What would you have said to A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts if you were the head coach on the sideline, Whit? What would you have looked at A.J. Brown and said?
I mean, you can't do that. You just really can't.
Yeah, your
team.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you think that threw Jalen Hurts off a little bit, like mentally?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, when you have your best receiver go out there and yell at you, I mean, it's just kind of throws you off a little bit.
Throw me off, I'll say that. People tell me I over-exaggerate and it's football.
Hey, wait, I got a question for you. A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith, who are you keeping in 2 years?
I would keep Devontae Smith because he's younger than A.J. Brown.
Yeah, I would do the same.
That's the right answer.
I think arguably he's also a better route runner. I think when he becomes the wide receiver number 1, he's going to put up some monster numbers. So you just got to, see what happens when that day comes. Or it may never come. Who knows? Maybe we re-sign both, but I don't think we have the money for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of killed Devontae Smith when they traded for A.J. Brown in the draft. Because if they would have not traded for A.J. Brown, then Devontae Smith would have been the number 1.
You're spitting factor now, Whit, and I appreciate that.
Wait, you play football too, right?
Right.
What position are you?
I can play either on the O-line or D-line. My main position is center.
I played center as well, and the cool thing about being a center is you can get 5 more yards than a receiver, as in Josh Zepp in high school. So keep grinding. You're gonna be amazing, and can't wait to see what you can do. Maybe the next
Thank
Jason
you.
Kelsey. Who knows?
Definitely not the next Jack Thornton.
No. Better.
Not hard to do. Not hard to do.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, Whit, and thanks for spitting facts, buddy. Have a good night.
Thanks,
No
Whit.
problem. Thank you.
Go Birds!
Go Birds.
Beautiful. I love that kid.
What a man.
That's my family for you. It runs in the family. And I also want to welcome our other call-in, Manny Sembroni, a professional soccer player, here tonight with us to talk about a little bit about the Philadelphia sports fandom, which I think has been getting a real bad rap lately. And it's funny, me and Manny came across each other through Instagram. I love his videos, what he does, very inspirational. But we're talking a little bit about the Eagles. I find out that he's an Eagles fan. And I'm like, wait, how is someone from Europe, professional soccer player, such a diehard fan? And we started talking about the fandom and how a lot of people say that the Eagles fans are too hard on them. And long story short, Manny basically said that's normal in Europe. That stuff is normal. Can you tell us a little bit more about that and what it was like being a professional athlete? I think one of my favorites was the grocery store story, if you told me that.
Of course. Number one, thank you guys for having me here. This is an absolute pleasure. Super fun, super excited. So thank you, Dal. Thank you, guys. Number one, what represented being an athlete for me, it represented my entire life. I believe it's a dream of majority of people, right? If you like the sports, and it was an unbelievable ride. Number two, in regards of the fandom of Philly, man, this is this is pure heaven for me. I'm used to of European fans going crazy, in and out of the field, man, and connecting to the story of the grocery. There were teams without citing these teams because I don't want to get in trouble, but I remember when we lost some of the games and, you have to go buy your grocery at the supermarket. If you're losing games in Italy, you play in very hard fandom type of thing, man, you cannot go to the grocery shop. So you got to send somebody to get your food, stay home and lock it until you win the next game. So for me, this is like bread and butter, guys. That's fun.
So when Nelson Aguilar drops a pass and misses and the whole city's chewing him out, you're basically saying that would be a normal thing. So maybe it isn't so bad. Maybe it's a love, you know what I mean? Because one thing about Europe too, on the flip side, is I don't think that there's anybody that's as passionate and as loving about a sport than Europe with soccer.
Yes. I think what made me connect with the city of Philadelphia, the sports of Philadelphia, is the passion, right? For me, being an Italian native, we love passion, energy, and very loud people. So that's Italians, right? But when I moved to Philadelphia, for me it was like, wow, I feel like home, and that was like my first home in America. So that's what tied me to the city and the sports of Philadelphia. I'm very grateful.
So when you came from Europe, you just fell in love with the Philly fan base right away. You didn't like any of the other NFC East teams, being the Cowboys or the 49 or the Commanders or the Giants. It was all Philly.
It was all Philly, and this is funny, man. So I get to the city, guys, and you got to understand. I moved to Philadelphia when the Eagles won the Super Bowl. So we're talking about the good stuff.
Yeah,
so I get to the city and it's like, wow. And it's like, what is this, right? And I'm like, okay. So the first thing that I did, I told my wife, tell me more about the Eagles, right? And she was like, wow, fans are crazy. Like, this is a big team. I said, okay. So what I did, I went to Amazon and bought a hoodie with the Eagles that I still have. So the one that you saw, Dalton, on Instagram, that I'm sitting on the steps of my house, that was my first hoodie that I bought back in the days. And I still have. I told my wife that we cannot lose. 2018, man.
Good luck charm, yeah.
So let me ask you this: Are you
Yes?
How do you feel? I'm not sure if you watch basketball. But how are you feeling about the Sixers? This 2 round
That's
out.
my team. That's my other team, baby. So it's like I think last season was pretty fun to watch, and it was the real first season for me to actually like, hey, let me get to the NBA. Let me understand a little bit about it. That's fun. But I think that talent is there, and I love to watch Philly sport, man. So also, if we suck, doesn't matter. Still Philadelphia for me. I got that connection with the city. My wife is from Pennsylvania as well, so even stronger. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean, hey, you picked a good time to move to Philly because since you've been here, the Phillies have been in the playoffs. So that's another team, and it's Red October right now. So how do you like? Do you watch Phillies as well?
That's my other thing. I want to get more and more into baseball because, guys, I'm a soccer guy. You got to understand. In my country, yeah, we play sports, but soccer is the thing. So I certainly would love to go to watch a Philly game. That would be super super cool, guys. If we do it together, even better.
For sure.
When you first moved here, Manny, and you saw the Philly Fanatic, what was your reaction to that thing? Were you like, what the heck is this? Like, how was that described to you? Because I just think that it's one of the most iconic mascots, and Gritty too, the Flyers mascot. Like, when you saw some of these mascots for these teams, were you like, what have I gotten myself into? This isn't your standard lion or tiger mascot. This is like a thing, like an entity. It's a monster straight up.
Yeah, man, this is like the beauty of this country, because for me, I was a little kid dreaming of becoming a US citizen. So I was born that way. America was always the American dream, and then it comes with watching sports and commercials and the movies, right? So I grew up watching Rocky Balboa going up and down of the steps. I probably watched that movie 1,000 times, right? And think about how mind is powerful. And then I actually moved to Philadelphia, and then to get to that point, man, that's good. That's fun, man. So anything that I see over here is a discovery, and I love it.
Yeah, it has to be a surreal moment when you grow up watching these Rocky Balboa movies in Philly, and then you wind up in Philadelphia. It has to feel like super like surreal to you, and like, wow, this is crazy. This is what I grew up watching, and now I'm living here.
Guys, I can't describe it. Like the first thing that I did when I arrived in Philadelphia, I told my wife, "Hey, we got to go to the Rocky statue and to do the steps. We got to run up and down. Got to sit down. I got to take a lot of pictures." You know what I mean? It's like that's the type of attachment that you have. In Italy, we grew up with watching Sylvester Stallone and the Rocky movies in Philadelphia. So for us, that's empowerment. You get over here, that's what you want to do. And then, of course, you want to get some food too, because Philadelphia food is unbelievable.
What's your favorite cheesesteak place?
D'Alessandro's and Maniac.
Ooh, okay, I knew I liked you, Manny. I knew I loved you. I knew I did, because that's my favorite
fire.
Too. It's fire, right? It's the meat is so cut. And when you go there, it's so funny that I'm from Delaware, a little bit south, and then Jersey, and then I went to St. Joe's in West Philly. So Roxborough, where it's at, you go over the bridge. And anyway, I'll never forget my first time there. The lady's like, "What do you want?" It's like a typical Philly joint. You know what I mean? She's like, "What do you want, honey?" But it is one of the best cheesesteaks in the city, hands down, if not the best.
It was incredible. Yes, go ahead, brother.
Yeah, and don't listen to Don. He's not from Delaware. He grew up in Jersey, and he's lived in Delaware for 2 years now. So I'm originally from Delaware. 3 years.
All right. Okay.
Did you try Angelo's, Manny?
No.
You gotta try Angelo's. You gotta.
I gotta try Angelo's.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, and I also wanted to ask you. So you played soccer in Europe. How does that compare to the MLS? Do you watch the MLS a lot, or do you?
I do watch the MLS. I believe the MLS grew so much through the years, guys, and you see all these big stars that come in. We have one of our property that is 7 minutes away here in Florida, in Fort Lauderdale, 7 minutes from the Pink Stadium. Imagine like when Messi arrived, man, that's huge. But if you compare the two, it's a different type, number one, of different type of way to live soccer. You know, in Europe, it's more like, hey, this is what I do. This is how I provide food on my table for my family. So it's very aggressive that way. So you're like, hey, no jokes here. In America, I see it like more as a big show, more spectacular, more relaxed, but also I see a lot of quality. There are lots of great players, lots of potential, lots of fans, lots of structures, right? This country is going to be one of the greatest for soccer through the years. And you see already like all the stars that are coming.
Yeah, I mean, even looking at the World Cup, I think there was 90 players or something from the MLS playing in the World Cup, which was the most out of any other league in the world. Which, as living in the United States, it's always been like, oh, the MLS is kind of a joke. But like when you look at it, like it's growing so much, and it's actually becoming such a good league for soccer, and people are wanting to play in the MLS. So I just wanted to get your take on that because it's growing before our eyes.
Man. I agree with you. Look at the national team, man. Look how many players from the U.S. national team that come into Europe, and they're like top players in our European teams. So it tells you everything. The game is changing, and we have a high appreciation for the U.S. soccer, also in Europe. And I saw it on myself when I was with the Cosmos. There was incredible players coming over there. So it was excellent, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think one last question, and then I'll let you get out of here. So how you're a diehard Eagles fan. How do you think the Eagles are going to do this year? What are your expectations?
That's a great question, man. I think I already gave a preview. To me, it's like in the athlete mindset is like you're gonna win, right? So the expectation for a team like the Eagles is like you want to compete for winning. Now, if you get into the final, you bring it home, or like last year that I wanted to kill myself, how it ended. But it's like the Eagles should and they will compete for getting to the Super Bowl, and hopefully we're gonna have a different outcome, and we're gonna celebrate together. Hopefully, right?
Sure.
So that's the way that I'm seeing it. And considering that we have a vacation home over here in Fort Lauderdale, if we have with the Dolphins, that is the other team that they're saying over here is going to be the team. So that would be fun as well. Imagine.
Yeah, for sure. Don, do you have anything else for Manny?
No, I just want to thank Manny once again for coming on. Like I said, always go Birds. The fandom runs deep, as you guys can see, worldwide. And Manny, I want to give you a chance here to also plug yourself too and tell everybody where they can find you as well.
Of course. Guys, you can find me on Instagram, of course, as Emanuele Dazzembroni. But my platform, my favorite platform is LinkedIn. And you can find me as Emanuele Manny Sembroni, as simple as that. So connect with me, and I'll be happy to answer any of your questions, of course.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for
Thank
your
you,
time.
guys.
And go Birds. And we have a big game against the Rams this weekend.
Yes, go Birds, guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
go
thank
Birds.
you. Have a good one.
Thank you, Manny. Perfect. All right, guys. I want to also welcome our next guest to the show. Well, Tom couldn't really be here tonight, so we had to get the next best thing. So we got BPM for you, beats per minute, ballpark Matt.
Time for Phillies talk with Ballpark Tommy. Finger stitch.
I would just like to say, go check out Nick's Pizza. He's opening up his own shop starting, I think, in the next couple of weeks, at least on his Instagram. It's the next best pizza in the state of Delaware, so go give him your business. And also, I wanted to say, Dalt, that I am better than Ballpark Tommy. Him and I will have a fight about this.
Tell us why. Tell us why.
I'm not from Delco.
All right, you got me, man. It's over.
Hey, but hear me out.
Done.
But hear me out. If Ballpark Tommy wasn't at the game tonight, but he had a headache, he would still show up and perform on the show, unlike somebody like did last week.
So
I couldn't open my eyes, man. I couldn't open my eyes.
Interesting.
It hurt so bad.
Excuses.
Well, I'm
Anyway.
here tonight, Jack,
Take it away.
and I am on fire, baby. The Phils were back. It's Red October. I'm wearing my red today. Aaron Nola's looking fierce. Zach Wheeler looked fierce last night. The Bats came alive, scored 4 runs. I'm feeling good about this postseason, guys. I really am. I think we're going to go on a run here, and I hope we're all ready to be strapped in, and just go for a fun roller coaster ride, man. Because I think I'm feeling the energy from this year, and the fans look into it, the players look into it. They know what to expect. They know how to perform to make us happy, and I really think that playing the Marlins in the wild card, I love that we're going to be playing the Braves in the NLDS, after hopefully we win tonight. I'm knocking on wood. I don't know if you guys can hear that. But I love these 2 series. And yes, the Braves are good, but it's a 5-game series, and I do think that we're going to be able to take it home. Our pitching, I think, is going to step up better than it has all year. Our hitting and our bullpen's going to step it up. Rob Thompson knows not to fuck around in the postseason, so I really think that he's going to make the right choices, bringing relievers in. That's what I'm feeling like right now, and I'm feeling good about it, guys. I'm feeling really good about it.
Yeah, I mean, hey, dude, it just seems like these players that were on the team in the World Series last year, they have that drive. As we saw last night, I'm not sure. I didn't see it as a topic tonight, so I don't want to say anything wrong. But Castellanos showing off the ring finger, like they all want it, and you can see it in Bryce Harper when that man was told to stop at third base, but he kept running because he wanted to score, and he wants the city of Philadelphia to know that he's here, long term, and he wants to bring a ring back to Philadelphia. So I think as these players that were had the taste of it last year in the World Series, I think they want it even more this year. And I'm glad we can see that drive in them. And coming from Captain Bryce Harper, he really wants it, and I'm excited to see what they can do.
Ash, how are you feeling about it?
I'm really excited. Last night was just stinking fun. And it's good when I feel like we've gotten this momentum the last month or so that really they've been going on that uphill trend, and they are starting to be able to have fun with it. And at the beginning of the season, I think the expectations were so high that they really got in their own heads. And as the season's progressed, they've been able to relax, and it's clearly shown. They're playing more relaxed. They're playing in my opinion, the best baseball that I've seen them play all season by far. And the fact that they're having fun at the same time, it just helps too. And I don't know, it's just kind of exciting, especially when the Philadelphia baseball teams are not doing too hot right now. It has been really fun to actually have people coming up to me and asking me my opinions on the Phillies and how far we think they're going to go.
Yeah, and I don't know about you guys, but watching playoff
But I'm feeling 22. Everyone's going to be
I don't know about you guys though, but playoff baseball is so much fun to watch. There really is no other crowd that is as exhilarating as Philadelphia. It is I've watched the other postseason games, at least the highlights. I'm at a conference, so I can't really watch them live, but they're just not exciting because the crowd's they're into it a little bit more than regular season, but Philadelphia takes it up a notch. You can hear how loud it is through the TV, and I can just only imagine what it sounds like in person. I can't wait to hear about how Ballpark Tommy's experience was tonight. I don't know. I was there last year in the NLCS, and I've been to Eagles playoff games. I've been to the Sixers playoff games, and there is nothing. I swear to God, there's nothing as exhilarating as being in Citizens Bank Park in the playoffs. It's unmatched. It's crazy.
And you hear they interviewed Zach Wheeler yesterday, and he's like, when we were walking out to the mound, he got so many chills through his body because he's like, I knew it was gonna be this big, but not as this big. Like you said, I haven't been in the playoffs for baseball. I mean, back in the day, probably early 2000s when they played the Braves. I think that was the year they won. Maybe, I don't know. But it just, yeah, I mean, nothing can compare to, I don't know, because I feel like at the link it gets pretty rowdy during the playoffs. So I haven't been able to experience.
Link gets hella rowdy.
Yeah,
It does get hella rowdy.
Yeah, so I haven't been able to experience recently playoff baseball or playoff football. But yeah, no, I'm excited. I mean, these guys, they really do want it. They want it for sure, 1,000%.
They even got me to watch.
Yeah,
I watched.
Josh.
I watched most of the game last night.
I didn't watch.
Look at you, Josh. You're growing up, man.
I'm watching the game right now. I got it on.
You're growing up.
It's pretty fun to watch. I like it.
Josh,
I get baseball.
You were in bed by 8:30, sir.
Yeah, but I was watching on my phone there when I was waking up in the middle of the night. Some of us have to wake up. I woke up at 4 a.m. What do you want me to do? Stay up till 10? That's not happening.
Hey, Josh, I kind of feel like you tonight. You know, taking the podcast in my bed.
It's so nice, isn't it?
You know,
it's
wait,
so
we kind of flip flopped. You know, you're like not in your bed, and I'm in bed.
I know. While I'm watching the game, it's nice, isn't it? But like, you know, I normally have to wake up at 4 a.m. So, what are you gonna do? It's hard to stay up late. I'm a sleepy boy.
Yeah, but okay. So how are we feeling? How are we feeling about the Phillies pitching situation, though? Are we confident in our starters, or are we kind of hoping that, you know, our offense is going to carry us home?
That one, the offense. Yep. I don't know enough, but the offense. Everybody complains about the bullpen.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's been a struggle all season. This bullpen has definitely been a struggle. I don't want to put all the pressure on our offense, but we may need to. I mean, again, Zach Wheeler played well last night. I'm not sure who's on the mound tonight. Is it Nola?
Nola's on the mound.
How's he playing?
He's pitching pretty well, actually. JT just hit a double. Let's go. One out.
Let's go. Yeah, I mean, I feel like Aaron Nola, though, he's a completely different person in postseason. I could be wrong, pitching-wise.
Yeah, I mean, we've only gotten to see him last year in the postseason. He pitched lights out, you know, except that World Series game. He kind of looked bad, but you know, this season he let up 36 home runs, and like, that's just bad. And like, are we actually as fans going to expect that to change? You know, like it's still baseball. Yeah, postseason's different. You know, the crowd's into it, but is that enough to change someone's issues that they've had all season long? I don't know. It's going to be interesting. You know, I have confidence in him. I don't really have a reason not to have confidence. He's played good baseball throughout his career here in Philadelphia, and I gotta hope that, you know, this crowd will kind of flip a switch for him, just kind of like Trey Turner. You know, the crowd is on their feet whenever Nola comes out of that dugout tonight. They're always up, they're cheering, they're happy. So yeah, I'm confident in them. I'm hoping that, you know, they're gonna flip the switch and they're gonna look like the starters that we know them to be.
Ash, any other comments? Last comments?
No, totally agree with you guys. I think the pitching has been our biggest struggle, and the bullpen has been. Those are kind of like two things. And I think, I don't know. I'm a little nervous. That's the thing that I'm the most nervous about going into this postseason run.
Yeah, you know, this season, hopefully they can make a run in postseason. But, you know, what I'm really here for is these birds. And, you know, how are we feeling about this play calling that has happened within the last 4 weeks?
I thought this past week was better besides the random run, like the 3rd and 11 in the end zone or the red zone that we ran. That was a weird play call with Kenny Gainwell. Besides that one, I actually really like the play calling on this last game. I thought this was definitely Jalen Hurts' best game. This is definitely our best game in our passing attack, and I feel like Swift still kind of ate in the run game, so I feel good about it.
Yeah, where I'm standing is, you know, we every single week 1 our play calling sucked. Week 2 our play calling was a little bit better, not incredible. Week 3 was a little bit better, again, not incredible. This week we put up 34 points, right? And we're still like, play calling kind of sucked. You know, so like when the play calling is actually up to our liking, like this team's going to be nasty. You know, like we haven't even reached our potential yet, and we scored 34 points, and we're still complaining about play calling, which is it's scary, you know, like for other teams in the NFL. So I think there's a lot to be proud of this past game. You know, Jalen Hurts played well, just like you were saying, Josh. Our wide receivers are getting open. Our run game is still lethal. So it's like everything's starting to come together week by week, and I think the play calling week by week is getting better as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's, hey, I'm going to keep saying it. This is the first year that we have Sean Desai as a defense coordinator, and then we have Brian Johnson as our offense coordinator. So I'm not sure, what the stats are or how the offense and defense ran when we had Shane Steichen and the guy we may not answer, say his name. But when they first were here, like, what was their play calling like? Maybe it's just kind of like dipping our toes in the water a little bit, seeing how these coaches call, and then hopefully, I mean, I can't really complain about these play and calling at all. I just want to see more I don't know, more confidence. I think the red zone is still killing us. I mean, the 92%er always works. We always win that. But it's just like, give it time. I mean, like you said, these starters haven't played in the preseason at all. This is the first, only week 5 now with these coaches. So, I mean, give it time. And, if this is an issue and we're still talking about this mid-season, then we have an issue. But other than that, I think we'll A-okay.
Yeah.
We are 4-0.
We are 4-0. And that's where we need to say. Granted, last week was way too close. But the play calling is getting better than it was. It's just there's still, in my opinion, quite a bit to be desired.
Okay, so here's a question to you guys. We're starting 4-0. The 49ers are 4-0. Who's more legit? Like, who's the better team here?
I don't know. McCaffrey's looking dirty this season. He's looking dirty this season. 49ers
the Eagles.
You think? I mean,
why do you guys all like McCaffrey so much? Tell me what, like,
McCaffrey.
This year.
McCaffrey,
McAfee. I'm gonna get all of their last
McCaffrey?
names wrong. Me and Mitch
Jesus.
don't get along. But Jack,
I just think McCaffrey is just a generational talent. And the things he's doing, not many current running backs are doing that. I mean, he had 4 touchdowns last game. That's insane. And he
is a touchdown like 16 games straight.
Yeah, I mean, he is just a generational talent. I mean, yeah, that's why I think everyone is, has their. I'm not gonna say that, but everyone loves Christian McCaffrey because they just know that he is just a generational talent, and we haven't seen a running back like this in quite some time.
He's the most talented running back of all time.
I agree, 1,000%. And here's the thing.
That's true.
I just said I agreed.
No, I'm looking at Dalton.
No, he's looking at me. I'm looking at him.
All right, Dalton. So if you're not gonna say McCaffrey, as you would call him McCaffrey,
I could name like 3 guys right now easily.
Better.
Go.
Dickerson, Emmitt Smith.
Emmitt Smith.
You said you could name it right now, and you did not name it right now.
Hold on. There was another guy. You guys threw me off because Josh.
Who's the first one you said?
Third, I actually had another one. I would honestly. Nah. Maybe at the end.
But hear me.
Sean McCoy, because he has a ring, and he actually had, like, if you look at his NFL resume, LeSean McCoy is a pretty fucking good NFL running back, and everybody wants to sleep on it.
Don, I love you to death.
I would name 3 more talented. The last one was Sweetness, Walter Payton. Sorry, that was my third.
I love you to death, but out of.
Why are you doing that? It's Sweetness.
Who's sweet? Walter Payton. You're
Walter
telling me
Payton,
if
Eric Dickerson, and Emmitt Smith, all 3 are
so
definitely
put
better than
either
Christian McCaffrey. I will be the black sheep on this podcast and say that.
No, so put either of those 3 on the 49ers right now. They're going to put up the same numbers.
In their prime, probably a little bit better. Yeah.
Definitely not. That's
Here's
just
the
ridiculous to say.
Dalt, McCaffrey is an all-time running back, and then he's also like an all-time wide receiver. Like he is so good in both
He's
aspects of the
so
game.
good at everything.
But these guys are like
Oh,
the best
no,
running
Patch!
backs of all
Sorry.
time. You know what I mean? Like they're like some of the best
That
RBs
was
of
a
all
bad
time.
error. That was a bad error that just
So when
happened.
you think
in
about
the
that,
Phillies
you know
game.
what I mean? Like there's something to be said for it.
Back to the question. I don't know yet because the big test is the gauntlet that we have all talked about beginning of the season. I mean, okay, they're both 4-0 teams, but obviously the Eagles' schedule is a lot more harder than the 49ers. It's the hardest schedule in the league. So, like, it's really hard to tell who's more legit now. Yeah, 4-0, cool. But the 49ers really haven't played that much of hard teams, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think I trust this 49ers secondary more than ours. I think that's kind of the big difference there right now. Right?
But that's
Like,
gotta
I think
be it. The only part of the team, though, right? That you trust more than the Eagles. You can't tell me there's any other part.
no. That really. I mean, I think our
Tight
offense is. I think our offense is similar, and if anything, I think our offense can probably score quicker. I think the Niners go on these long drives and they score and they get points, but I think we kind of have a better big play possibility. I think our defensive lines are pretty similar. Ours might have the edge, but I think their secondary is much better than ours, and that's mostly because Avante Maddox got hurt, and then our safety's kind of been questionable because Brown went down and Sidney went down. So it's really just been and Reed Blankenship was out of the game. So I think our secondary needs to strengthen up, and then
Hey, Josh.
Yo.
Brown and Sidney are the same people. So.
Yeah, I know. I said that.
Good job.
Yep. I said
Ash,
that. I knew that as soon as I said it, and then I just kept rolling with it. So, yeah.
Ash, what were you going to say?
Want to?
I think it's different too. Like, I mean, I'm just looking at like the last, like just simply like the scores of the 49ers games versus the Eagles games. The Eagles have had a lot more close games, and then we had the game that went into overtime. And I said last week, it does not matter how good Washington is, how bad Washington is. They always play the Eagles ridiculously hard. And I thought for sure, we'll talk about this later, but I thought for sure we were going to lose that game. On paper, the Eagles have the edge. However, so far in playing, and I think this is also as we get the players more comfortable with the coordinators and all that jazz, I think this will shift. But like right now, I would have to go 49ers from an unbiased perspective.
I think personally, this team on paper, the Eagles is 100% better than the 49ers. I'm tired of all season. The 49ers have played not very good teams, just like the Eagles haven't played the best teams. But that's how the NFL works because there's 32 teams in the NFL. I think only like 12 of them now, maybe is it 14 now, make the playoff 14 because it's 7 each. 14 of them make the playoffs. So if you look at the games and the matchups, the Eagles and the Niners, I think, are pretty even, but I think that the Eagles are 100% better because of one reason. Quarterback. And no disrespect to Brock Purdy. He's actually growing a lot on me. Poor guy's living out in San Francisco on $900,000 a year. The point is, I really think Jalen Hurts is that much better than him, and that says so much for Eagles fans because I will give respect to Commanders fans, and we'll get to this later. But a lot of NFC teams, it's taken a long time to find their franchise QB. And I think for Eagles fans, that's a nice thing that, we're so confident in Jalen Hurts. Because Brock Purdy, I think, arguably is a top 5 QB this year. You know what I mean? No doubt.
Yeah, I mean, but you got to think about it. What? This is Jalen Hurts' 4th year, and this is Brock Purdy's 2nd year. And he was Mr. Irrelevant in last year's draft, and he went to the NFC Championship. I don't know. I mean, if you have the same, if you had 4 years under Brock Purdy's belt and same with Jalen Hurts, I think it would be, a big question mark. Obviously, Jalen Hurts is a lot better. He's more versatile. He can do a lot more than Brock Purdy, but Brock Purdy is, kind of stepping in his own and being a really good, reliable quarterback this season for his 2nd year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally agree. And I hear what you're saying. I think this game is going to be one of the most hyped up games all year. I mean, you got the Miami game in a couple of weeks. I think that Miami's really good team. There's Tua and Jalen. That's going to be fun to see. I mean,
and that's also when we're pulling up the Kelly Greens, right?
Yep.
It's Dolphins.
That's going to be a whole other level. too.
Oh yeah.
That tailgate, people are going to be out there early. And speaking of, Ashley, thank you for giving me a nice little transition. You guys like this nice little T-shirt I got on, huh? That shit hurts. That's what's going to happen to you 49ers fans. That shit's going to hurt when you're in the dirt again, Brock Purdy, because Hassan Reddick's going to be on you all day. No, in all seriousness, I want to thank Swagger Sports for sending me one of these shirts. If you guys want to get one of these, you guys can check out my guy Dustin's website online. They have these designs, a ton more. They have in hoodies. I actually got one for Jack right here. They have one that says the Birds. It's a pretty cool material. Big Sean, they sent me a hoodie for him of the same thing. So stay tuned, guys. But I mean, go check out Dustin. He's a really cool dude. And I'm telling you guys, he has a ton of stuff for sale. So even if you're not an Eagles fan, I mean, he's doing all 32 teams individually. And that shit's going to hurt 49ers fans. So go buy some stuff to wipe your tears with when you're in the dirt the whole game. Anyways, next topic.
Yeah.
Cool.
Check.
I know we got playoff baseball on.
Check the group chat.
Okay, cool. I will check it in 1 second, but I'm gonna go check it. Before that, week 4 recap. Jack, how are you feeling about this win? Is Sam Howell legit? What are you thinking?
I mean, I don't know, because he had he was sacked 9, maybe 11 times last week against whoever they played before the Eagles. I don't know. I mean, like we said, Jalen Hurts played really well. This is probably his best game this season. AJ Brown played really well. But again, like Ash has said repeatedly, like any of these NFC East games, they're going to be a tough matchup. You know, no matter how horrible the Commanders are, if they're 0-4 or whatever down the road, 2-8 or whatever, they're still going to play these games extremely hard. And as we saw, I mean, every time the Giants and us play against each other, we always have a tough game. I mean, other than we go to, Massacre in Meadowlands. But I don't know. I think that was, nail biter for sure. But I'm glad Jake the Make Elliott made that 54-yard field goal. My hopes aren't up. It just was a disgusting win, but we still got the W. Jalen Hurts played well, like I said, and so did AJ Brown.
100%.
Are we feeling by any chance that made field goal 54 yards in overtime? It's given us a little bit of a throwback to the Giants win back in 2017. This kind of kickstart one of these runs that are going to be freaking amazing to watch.
I felt that way last year about one of the field goals that they had, so I won't say. I'll knock on wood.
Yeah, but I mean, like the energy, the team rushing out there, picking him up, kind of like Simba. Like it just like reminded me so much of 2017. Jake Elliott's first game as an Eagle, coming out and hitting that 61-yarder. Now he hits a 54-yarder to put the Birds to 4-0. We're about to get into a tough stretch of games here, and I think this was the energy that they need. They understand that they need to play better. But like I was saying earlier, we put up 34 points, and we are – and this is nowhere close to the best football we can be playing. The thing that I take away is, yes, it was NFC East. Every NFC East game, just like you were saying, Jack, it's going to be tough. But we came out with the win, and that's what you have to look for in this situation. Losing that game would have sucked because I think it was a really shitty play call to go for a touchdown there with a minute and a half left on the 40-yard line. I was so pissed off that we got a touchdown there. Like, yeah, it was awesome. AJ Brown, 2 touchdowns, put up 180 yards or whatever it was. But, like, you can't get a touchdown there. And then immediately the defense lets them go up and give up a touchdown. I mean, it was just a really shitty minute and a half. And I was very upset. They should have just ran the ball. I don't understand why they're not giving Swift the ball in that situation. Run the clock down. They're well within Jake Elliott's field goal range. There's no reason to go over the top on that. So I guess, kind of relating back to play calling, that is something that kind of grinded my gears a little bit. But, they did a good job. They won the game.
Ryan Swoop, what's up, man? How are you? Welcome back to the show.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for letting me come.
Hey, we're happy to have you. How were you feeling last week in this overtime win? Little bit of a mini heart attack. What were your thoughts?
You want me to be honest? I will.
Be honest.
All right. Well, everyone's complaining so much about the offense. I don't think maybe it's the play calling, and I don't think Hurts is looking okay. He's not up to his best right now, but I think he's going to come along, and I think the offense is going to come along and do better later in the season, and they're going to get back to who they are. But right now, the play calling is a little iffy and all that, and I'm not I'm not really a fan of it. But it's not something I'm like too worried about. I think it's more the defense, and when I talk defense, I'm talking about the coverage. So I know the Eagles are 4-0, but I still have the same issues that they had last year, and why I don't think they won the Super Bowl. People are going to blame the field, but all last season, even though the Birds were really good and would they go 8-0 in their first 8 games last year?
Yeah.
Well, the coverage is just awful. Like last year it was too. Even when they were like winning last year, I said the same thing. So the Eagles are 4-0. I know that, but the coverage is this team's coverage is not going to win this team a Super Bowl. It's awful. Like we can't stop teams. We can't get them off the field. And I know that I'm not going to bring the front four into this because the front four is terrific. They're like one of the best front four all time, I think. So I'm not going to even mention them. But as far as the coverage, it's abysmal. It's horrific. Like they can't stop teams, and and I think that's why Hal looked good. Like you saw the Super Bowl, of course, it's Patrick Mahomes, but this team cannot stop teams in coverage. Like they allow they allow short completions, like 5 to 6 yard completions, and then like downfield they're okay, but it's more the short yard coverage, and then turning those and then those after the yard plays on the short coverage catches. It's more the after the yards is what the issue is.
Yeah.
Or it's 2 to 3 yard passes, and then first down. Because we see big plays on first and second down. The Birds make big plays, but then when they get teams to third down, they can't stop them, and they march down the field. So, like outside the sacks and outside the pressure, you see this team that they can't do anything if a team's not getting pressure on them. Like early in the game, you saw Washington, like they weren't getting pressure on on Hurts, and they were giving Hurts a lot of time in the pocket. But what were they doing really good? They were covering very good, and they were not allowing Hurts to get good passes downfield, even though he had a lot of time in the pocket. The Birds can't do that. If they don't get pressure on teams and they give the quarterback a lot of time, they can't stop them. The coverage is, I'm going to keep saying this, it's awful. And that's why this team can't win a Super Bowl. I got to be honest. Like as good as they are at pressuring teams and sacking teams, outside of that, what are they defensively? Nothing.
Yeah, Josh, did you want to say something?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. That's what I said earlier. That's why I said when we were comparing the 49ers and the Eagles, like it's the secondary that scares me. I definitely agree with that. Like if the front four can't get home, we have an issue. Our secondary is really good at tackling. Like Reed Blankenship is a monster back there. I think he's like, I don't know if he's leading the league in tackles, but I think he has the most tackles on the team, and he missed the game, but we need to break up some passes. You saw it with the Vikings, and you saw it with the Commanders. But back to the OG question, I do think Sam Howell's legit. I think he played really well, and I think he's going to be the future of the Commanders going forward. I liked him back in UNC, and I think he's good now.
Yeah, 100%. Talking about the offense, do we think A.J. Brown's back? Like Dalton has said, or Matt said, he had 9 receptions, 175 yards, and 2 TDs.
Go.
Is he back? Hey, I don't think the Redskins are a good team against the pass. But A.J. Brown, he's always open. he was due for 2 touchdowns or a touchdown this last week because we've been trying to get to him the past 3 weeks and nothing has happened. But I mean, I don't think he was ever gone. I just think they just had really good coverage on him. So I mean, I'm excited to see what he can do this season. So that's all I gotta say.
What do you think, Ryan? We'll let our guest take it first.
As far as AJ Brown goes,
Yeah.
Is he back? I mean, what's your thoughts on also? We were talking about it earlier with one of our fans, Whit, my little cousin. He loves AJ Brown, but he did not like that little outburst on the sideline. What's your thoughts on all of this season and then this game and just everything?
well, offensively, like I was saying, I think this team is going to come through. And right now, like they don't look their best on offense. Hurts doesn't look his best, and then I think they're going to come through offensively, and I'm not very concerned. Although the one thing we saw last year, which we're seeing a little different this year, but at times it's still the same. Last year, it seemed like all the time that they were pass in the first half of the games, and they rarely ran the ball in the first half unless it was Hurts. But we saw the first game how much they ran, and then I'm not sure if it was the second game, like they ran a lot too, and then they or no, like they started out passing their first 9 passes or so, and then they seen that they couldn't get the pass down and cover get guys open, so then they turned to the run. Well, I want to see that continue. I want to see us have a balance on offense as far as the passing and running goes, because I don't want to just see pass or run like in the first half. I want to see it even. I know it's going to depend on matches and who they're playing, but I want to be able to see that like we can have an balance on offense as far as the passing and the running game goes throughout the game, not just like. Because a lot of times at the end of the season, they did have like a ratio where it was almost the same running and passing for the season, but they would always pass so much in the first half, and then they would run in the second half. I want to see like an even balance throughout the whole game between the run, not just one half do one and then the other half do the other. All 4 quarters. I would like to see that more. And then one thing I do have is we're not seeing Hurts run as he used to, or he's sliding a little sooner to avoid hits. Have you guys seen that?
Dalton, you're muted.
Sorry, yeah, that's been a positive, I think, for us. I think that's been a really, really good thing, that it's showing a sign of maturity. You know what I mean? And it's good to see him preparing for that. And I'm glad that you brought that up, because that's a great point. I do want to thank our guest tonight, Ryan Swoop, for jumping on with us for a few. I'm going to try to get you on here next week, too, if you're down, maybe for the Phillies.
Absolutely, guys. I appreciate it.
Huge Phillies fan.
Yeah, I need you guys to help me more with this podcast experience. I would like to get more on and get open and feel more comfortable. So I appreciate it.
Hey, well, we have great takes, so we appreciate you for jumping on and always jumping on to say what's up. So,
yes.
You ready for this weekend? Quick score prediction on your way out for us?
Probably 28-24. Birds.
I love it. Thank you, Ryan. Have a good night.
I want to see Dallas Goedert get more involved. Let's see that happen.
For sure. Ryan, it's always a pleasure you popping on, and let's go Phils.
Thanks, guys. Take it easy.
Have a good one. Yeah, have a good one. Bye.
Hey, brother. Perfect.
All right, moving on up. Like I said in that group chat, let's not talk about that. Let's just go to week 5.
Yes.
I don't watch my Phils. So moving on up, week 5, we got the Rams, and kind of like Matt said early, kind of reminisce of 2017, because that's when we won the Super Bowl, and that's when Carson Wentz went down against the Rams, and then Nick Foles stepped in. Ever think about that? So
wait, so
right?
what are you saying here, Jack? I need you to elaborate on your comment that you just made. What are you saying? What are you saying?
Speaking about a historical event that's happened in the past that he's witnessed with the same color scheme in his head.
I mean, I'm not saying.
You're saying Marcus Mariota is going to lead us to a fucking Super Bowl.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Game, Matt. Fucking Jordan cursing the Eagles before the game.
gosh.
Jesus Christ.
No, in all seriousness, this is gonna be a good game. Rams have Matt Stafford has been playing phenomenal. I'm not sure if he's playing this week because I know he had like a fractured ankle last game. But you know what I'm scared of? And like Ryan was talking about coverage, Pua Nakua or whatever. That man is
down. You gotta calm down.
He's a dog, dude. Come on now. Come on.
The only reason he's a dog is because there's no one else to throw to on that team.
Doesn't Cooper Kupp come back this week?
No, he just got pulled. So they activated his 21-day practice window, but he's trying to play this weekend, but he's doubtful.
Oh, okay. So that would be bad in all seriousness. Kupp, elite wide receiver. I joke around, I nickname him stuff, but dude's a stud. And like Ryan Swoop highlighted earlier, if this secondary has had problems, the wide receivers for the Rams have been their strength this year. So that's kind of what I'm afraid of. And I also want to highlight, too, if you guys are out in California listening to the pod, go down to the West Coast Birds and Philly sports trips and 4th and John tailgate they're having down there. It's going to be absolutely crazy. I bet you there's going to be more Eagles fans at SoFi Stadium. It's going to be called fucking Lo-Fi Stadium because there's going to be no fucking Rams fans there, and you're just going to see a sea of green. Like for Philadelphia fans, same thing that I said about week 2 with Tampa. You know what I mean? Or week 3. You got those families, could have went to Wildwood this year. Nope. We're balling out this year, little Jimmy. We're going to California. And we're going to go watch the Birds.
We're not going to California, Dolt. We're going to fucking Catherine Rooney's, and we're going to be drinking some good old beverages.
We're going to
the game together,
Klondike Kate's this Sunday. If you guys want to join us this Sunday, you can meet us at Klondike Kate's.
So Dalton, I don't know if that was talking about the Rams, because it wasn't. I don't know where you got in California, whatever, but what do you think about the Eagles paired against the Rams? Because that was just off the beaten path we just talked about.
What did I just talk about now? Like, I don't even remember. You had me
tailgating at SoFi. Tailgating at SoFi.
That there's going to be more Eagles fans there than Rams? How does that not relate to the game? You mean physically in the game? I think that, honestly, if you're talking stats-wise, players, the boring stuff, no, I'm kidding. I think that the Eagles are going to struggle. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. If I'm a betting man, which I am, bet on cut. If I could take the over or under, I would probably take the over on like 52.5 points, which should be pretty high scoring. I think it's going to, I would even maybe take 60.
Is that the over?
Risky. I don't know what it is. It's probably like 49.5. I don't know what it is off the top of my head.
It's probably I bet you it's 43.5. That's what I'm going to say.
But I think it's going to be a high scoring game. I think that these cornerbacks are going to have their work cut out for them. Because like Jack said, Stafford's in a groove.
Nakua is not that good.
It doesn't matter. Momentum is everything in football. Momentum is everything.
So
Antonio Brown was a nobody.
The over is 50 and a half.
Now you again.
50.5. That's a big over.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen in the 50. I haven't seen in the 50s yet this year.
That's for like points, and then like you said, it's 4.5 for the whatchamacallit?
The spread.
Yeah.
Got to take the spread. I think the Eagles I think they're gonna cover. Here's what I'm thinking. This team on offense they're getting in a groove. They're starting to figure it out. Brian Johnson, we've talked about it, it's getting better every week. This defense, we didn't even talk about it. Murrow, the linebacker group, has looked really good. And what I really like about Sean Desai is he's calling up blitzes that are getting the linebackers involved. Murrow, he had 3 sacks last game. Like, he played outstanding. And we're not even talking about it. So, like, yeah, our cornerbacks are a little rough right now. If I'm not mistaken, Slay went down last game, didn't he? And then Bradbury had to move back outside. So, like, we're slim, but we're forgetting that we have one of the best cornerback tandems in the NFL when they're healthy. Yes, they've had rough games, but you can't forget that. Like they're a very good duo, and they'll figure it out, and they'll lock people down. But when I look at the Rams compared to the Eagles, I just don't see how it can be a close game. I really hope it's not, because this is a game that is at the beginning of the year, I don't think there was a single Eagles fan that was saying that we would lose this game. Like this is a game that should be 100% guaranteed to win. And if it's a close game, then then we have to start asking ourselves questions: are we legit, or are we just getting lucky?
Yep.
I just think that this is a game that we need to win by 10 points or more, honestly. And we just got to win the game. Against the Bucs, we didn't win the game. It was weird. It was like, defense, and it was an odd game. I mean, even though the Bucs were down 13 points or whatever at the end of the game, like 5 minutes left, I was concerned if they got a touchdown, then we could possibly lose that game with 3 minutes left. We haven't had a game yet this season where we shut out a team, and I think this game could be it.
You think that you brought it up a good point with the corners. I think Bradley Roby quickly is going to be a good mix. Do you think he's going to come out and play, and is he going to be the one who's supposedly going to hopefully take that slot? I mean, this guy's a great player, all-pro corner multiple times.
Has he? I really don't know much about him, so I'm not going to speak too much, but anyone's better than I really do think Josh Jobe. I think Josh Jobe sucks.
Bomb.
Yeah, he's not good.
And this guy had most of his tenure, I just want to say, when the Broncos were very good in like 2015, 2016.
Oh, so he's old. So
he's old. He's an old guy. So that could be good, though, too, because he could bring some knowledge is kind of my hope. But we'll see. I think it was a wise signing, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I like I said, I can't speak too much on it. We'll see what he does.
Yeah, but other than that, I mean, that's all we have for you guys tonight. I want to thank everybody for jumping on, rocking out with us, watching the Phillies. We're going to get you guys out of here so you can enjoy the rest of the game. No trivia this week. We will have the trivia next week for you guys and the betting, but I do want to thank Fantasy Football Network and Tick Pick for sponsoring this show, as well as El Diablo Burritos and Nick's Pizza. But I'm going to kick it to Jackson to do what he does.
Colin, shut up. You're a fake fan. You're a Phillies fan. You're whatever Sixers fan. Shut up. Anyway, without further ado, hey Josh, it's not an intro. It's an outro. Hit that motherfucking outro.
Ballpark Tommy in the house.
That was really good, Dutch.
Matt, my head hurts a lot. I'm sorry.
Jack, go fuck yourself.
You suck at fantasy, Hoss. You suck at fantasy, man.